Welcome to our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Genesis. Today we are in Genesis chapter 40. We're in the midst of the story of Joseph. Now you recall, we find Joseph in slavery in Egypt, having been sold there by his brothers. He initially was sold to the house of Potiphar, the captain of the guard. Things went well until he was falsely accused and ends up in an Egyptian prison. And that's where we pick up the story. And once again, we find that Joseph the dreamer comes to the fore. His dreams, his ability to interpret dreams also becomes very, very important. Now, sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, the king of Egypt, that is the Pharaoh. He was angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer, the chief baker, and put them into custody in the house of the captain of the guard in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph. He attended them. Now, these two officials of Pharaoh are the cupbearer, or his butler, we would say, and his chief baker, his cook. And they both end up in prison, probably suspected of some type of sedition. They've been held in prison. Joseph is assigned to care for them. You recall, the jailer has put Joseph in a position of trust as essentially a custodian. He's caring for them. Now, they've been in custody for some time, and each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, had a dream on the same night, and each dream had a meaning. When Joseph came to them the next morning, they were both dejected. So he asked Pharaoh's officials who were in custody in that prison, "Why do you look so sad today?" "We both had dreams," they answered, "and there's no one to interpret them." Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." Now we realize from this that Joseph has come to understand that God gives messages through his dreams. Joseph had those dreams before. The dreams that so angered his brothers, that he would one day rule over his brothers. So he knows God gives prophetic meaning through the dreams. And even though he has not had these dreams, he believes that God can give the interpretation. And so he speaks that word of witness. Tell me the dreams. The interpretation belongs to God. What a great man of faith Joseph is. Even with all that he suffered, being sold into slavery, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, ended up in prison unfairly, unjustly, he still knows that God is God and will show him the way. So as we read on through the chapter, the cupbearer, the butler, and the baker both share their dreams with Joseph. They've seen things that plagued them. Joseph interprets both of the dreams for them. He tells the cupbearer that in 3 days, your dream means that Pharaoh will release you from prison. You will be restored to your position. The baker is hopeful, but Joseph has to tell him the truth. Your dream is not so good. Pharaoh is going to find you guilty, and in 3 days, he will execute you. Now, in 3 days, on Pharaoh's birthday, those exact things happened. The chief cupbearer is restored to his position as Joseph had told him he would be, and the baker is executed for treason. Joseph is shown to be a man of God. Now, he had asked the cupbearer, he said, "When you are restored to your position, please tell Pharaoh about me. I'm here unfairly." But the cupbearer forgot. The chief cupbearer, however, the Bible says, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. I think what that means is he chose to forget him. He had been restored, but he didn't want to take any chances, so he did not tell the Pharaoh about this man in prison who could interpret dreams. However, God has set the scene for Joseph to appear before Pharaoh. For in chapter 41 we read, 2 full years passed, and Pharaoh has a dream. We're going to look at that in detail next time, but Pharaoh's dream, he's going to need someone to interpret for him. And that chief cupbearer is going to call attention to Joseph. Joseph is about to be raised up, all because he trusts God. You know, we might not have the gift of interpreting dreams. We might not have that prophetic gifting. But what we do know is, like Joseph, God communicates his will to us, and God's plan for us will be fulfilled. Our call is to trust him as Joseph did. Even when things go wrong in our perspective, even when circumstances seem to be against us, we can trust that the day will come when God will lift us up. He always does his children. He will take care of us. He will bring us through. He will restore us in the fullness of his plan, just as he did for Joseph. Trust God. Always trust God, as Joseph did. Hope you have a great day today. In our next session together, we're going to look at Pharaoh's dream and how Joseph interprets that for him. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Genesis.